because they be making us out to be contentious, and all I did was ask a few questions.
They got to do that so they can get you up out of there quicker. They make it seem like you being argumentative and aggressive, so they can kick you, so they can have an excuse to not deal with nothing you say. But that's a tactic of liars. Liars gotta have tactics. You know what I'm saying? They lie so much they gotta come up with something.
So, yeah, they don't want to be exposed.
What's up? You were snooping on the FYP. They've been taking the Bible verses back to their lives and discussing them for real. we got to figure out. We got to figure out a way around these scriptures, y'all. Come on, let's get together. Earth, wind, water, fire, heart. They turn it to the scripture tears. That's what they be doing. They come here so they can hear the argument, and then try to come up with a with a rebuttal to it. And they never do, because they never come back. They never come back.
It's like your boy Live Heat. We don't want to hear nothing about Mark 7.
That wasn't the Power Rangers, Heather. Come on now. That's the Planeteers.
That's the Planeteers.
With your powers combined, I am Captain Tazaria.
Boy, I watched 2 videos since I've been driving today with Cap getting cooked. I watched that Jay Dwyer. Jay Dwyer clowned him the whole time. I mean, I'm talking about start to finish. If you ain't seen that, he just straight clown.
What's up, King? For sure. You breaking up, you done cut out, so. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even really rock with Jay Dyer, but he was making Captain Desariat look foolish. I don't even rock with him like that either, but he was making him look like.
Who are you talking about?
Jay Dyer. What's up, Stevie?
Who?
Grace and peace. No, that's what's a few months?
Jay Dyer.
Yeah. Last month, I think. And then they be getting into that.
Dark skin?
Nah, he a white guy.
Oh, nah. I ain't see.
Yeah, he just I don't like that him, or I don't like Sam Shimon. I don't like that tactic he has either. I don't all of that getting disrespectful and all of that stuff. I don't do that. I don't like that. Calling people names and making them, he'll cuss you out too. Both of them. They'll cuss you out. But he did make them look foolish. But that's what I be trying to tell y'all. When y'all know their arguments, when y'all get a rap on their arguments and what they try to use to prove what they're saying, once you get a hold of that, it ain't nothing for you to do just to knock it down. Like they arguments are trash when you start just reading what it says. Like when we showed the brother when that brother brought up Isaiah 28:10 on how to read the Bible. When we went through that with him and he saw it clearly, it wasn't nothing he could do with just admit it, unless you gonna either be a liar or you're gonna just admit to what the text say. And hope and by the grace of God, he just seen the text for what it was and realized that his understanding was off this whole time. And we had some people that do that, when we like what was that brother name when we went through Romans 11, and he was like, man, his name is the music professor. Is that him? When they start seeing this stuff for what it really say, you either gonna lie on the Bible or you gonna just accept what it say.
You saw the God Logic verse, the Mormon dude?
Oh yeah,
That was pretty good. I thought the Mormon guy, he put
you,
up a good case.
he was just smart though. That's smart. That smart stuff only take you so far, man.
Yeah, I can't remember how he was articulating his actual points, but yeah, he was very intelligent.
Yeah, he was intelligent.
Very humorous as well.
Yeah, but that only gets you so
He had
far.
a good sense of humor on him.
If you looking at the text, all of that book smart stuff, if you're gonna look at what the text says, that intelligent stuff goes out the window because the text is very clear. You may have to do some work to form arguments out of the text, but the text itself is very clear. T Love, what's going on with you? You know you up here?
That's all the Hebrew Israelites really want to talk about these days, man, is the Trinity. And and that whole Unitarianism and stuff.
Yeah. What happened, T Love? You trying to come up and it's kicking you, or is that your app? I'm still waiting on this guy on from Facebook said that Christians always run. I'm still waiting on him to show up. He probably ain't here and just not saying nothing. I don't know what his name is.
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on with you?
Hey. So I was just listening, and you guys are Hebrew Israelites?
No.
Oh, no?
Uh-uh.
Oh. Okay, so I was just wondering, you were saying something about the uh, Romans and Hebrews or something, and you was breaking down scriptures and seeing what the scriptures really meant. I want you to enlighten me.
You believe in the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. What you mean enlighten you on what?
Well, you were saying about a brother came up and then you was reading a scripture to him, and when he found out what the scripture really was saying, he couldn't do nothing but agree.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So I want you to read that scripture to me and enlighten me on what it's saying.
Oh yeah, hold on for a minute. Before I get into that, I gotta, I want to make sure I leave room for the people to live is about. Just sit down, just chill for a minute. We may get into it if somebody come up and try to go against it. But the scripture in question is Isaiah 28 and in Romans 11. Don't nobody lie on the Bible like Christianity. Sunday worship lie, the Trinity lie, Gentile salvation apart from Israel lie. Greg, you want the link? You want the link in the chat? You want the link in the chat? Because you already know how I feel about thumb thuggers. If you only gonna thumb thug, you got to come up if you're gonna continue to type. Otherwise, I'm gonna cut off your typing powers. You hear me?
What up, Trey? Bro, what's going on, Sue?
What's going on?
I'm trying to enjoy the spring break. And my spring break over, man. For real? Already? Are you just dang.
IsraelUnite.org to actually learn something.
What's
up, Sierra?
Brother Snoop? Brother Bill?
Hey man, don't be typing no IsraelUnite.org in my chat, man.
Ugh, that's a virus. Throw it away.
Now you can't type no more. Don't come in here promoting no IUIC in my chat, man. You're gonna be muted. We can discuss what? What can we discuss? We can discuss what? What you mean Gentile salvation apart from Israel is a lie. Israelite salvation apart from Christ is a lie. Salvation ain't in Israel. Salvation is not in Israel. Salvation is in Christ Jesus. So you already wrong. You already wrong. Israel can't offer nobody salvation. You kidding me? They waiting on the Gentiles to get it so they can fully come in. What you talking about? You got to do better than that, man. Can we discuss about Yakub? Nah, we ain't talking about no Yakub. You take that on somebody else's live.
Is that the same Yakub from Message to a Black Man?
Man, you can take that Yakub stuff on somewhere, man. I don't even care about it.
Nobody talk about that NOI stuff anymore.
Nation of Islam is a bunch of jokes. Oh, this ain't no Islamic live. This definitely ain't no Islamic live, man, because that's a bunch of garbage.
Yakub had 2 brains.
You came in on the end of the live thinking I was saying Jesus was alive? Nah, hecky no. Go look at my profile.
I don't know about that, nerdy.
I got to do y'all homework.
They get you the same, they get you the same judgment, but man, yeah, that's, I don't know how I say it's the same. But they close.
I'm not saying they're pretty similar, but I wouldn't call them the same either.
Who?
Yeah, there was a time in my life where I was on that for real. I even jumped through a few doctrines.
You was selling bean pies too?
I used to.
Nah, I didn't get that far.
I used to.
You did?
Oh yeah. And final call. And fruit. Final calls, bean pies. I sold all that stuff.
My Lord.
Look,
I even had the bow tie. I had the red bow tie with the suit.
With the suit, yeah.
Yeah. I used to do the drill. I used to do the drill practices, the drilling.
Yeah.
Left, face, right, face.
I wasn't gonna be a good soldier because I was in New Orleans at the time.
You was
not gonna be.
Hey, I fainted. I fainted one day. I fainted one Saturday morning in the summertime. Early in the morning doing drill practice.
Was you in your suit?
Yeah, we was all in suits, and I fainted. Like it just got real white, and they had to wake me up. What's up, Worms?
Yeah, that would happen to me a few times in New Orleans. I just knew I couldn't do that.
Life is of Jesus. Jesus is of Israel. So isn't life is of Israel? No, universal man. No. Jesus is the creator of all. He's the creator of all things. How he gonna be of somebody when he was before all of them? Israel always pointed to God. Yeah. Is Jesus not Abraham's seed? Not according to the flesh. According to the flesh as who his lineage is in, but not physically. No. He didn't come from their blood. Remember, Jesus said he can make the seed of Abraham from rocks. So we know he could do something better than that. I'm built different. Israelite don't teach salvation apart from Christ. Christianity teach salvation apart from the people of Israel. That's nowhere in the Bible. Yes, it is. What are you talking about? What do you mean salvation apart from Israel? If a Christian never ran into an Israelite their whole life, they still could be saved. What are you talking about? You ain't got no Bible verse that say salvation. You got to be a part of Israel to have salvation. What are you talking about? Who said anything about replacing? The Bible says that out of the twine, he's made one new man. He's made one new man out of the twine. In Ephesians chapter 3, Paul says that the Gentiles become fellow heirs and of the same body. So those two groups of people are made into one new man, according to the Bible. Out of the twine hath he made one new man. And I don't teach replacement theology. The first people that was saved was Israelites. The true Israel of God is made up of Israel and non-Israel, all because of faith of Abraham. Faith in Christ puts you into the one body when you're born again. That's why Nicodemus had to have that message told to him. You got to be born again. You being an Israelite ain't good enough. Help you out. You need him to help you out. Oh, oh, that's all you got? Hawks rule, that's all you got? No information. No information. I told y'all that's all they got is ad homs. They don't have no truth, no information. Can't offer nobody nothing. Can't offer nobody nothing. This clown is just a content creator. I'm a content creator. Come up and show me I'm a content creator. Prove anything I'm saying wrong. How about that? Like I thought.
You say content creator like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I create content. I do. I create good content too, showing how much of a liar you guys are. It say Darash is a long-time watcher and a rising star in your life. That's why he said I'm a content creator, because he's always here. You like the content? Because it say you're a rising star. Darash, you're a rising star here. You on your way. It ain't no sound. My sound off on YouTube? Big fella, go to YouTube right quick and see if my sound off. No sound. I don't build different. Huh? How that sound? It sound off? Trying to figure out what we lie about. The Bible. Y'all lie about who the Gentiles are. Who is salvation for?
Man, your sound is fine. This sound.
That's probably something on your end. Jesus saves. He said, "I seen when you beat Captain Tazariak 38-3." He said 38-3. That's funny. Yeah, I be trying to tell you. Yeah, I put him in a blender. That's all. He got put in the blender, and you'll be surprised how many people come in my life talking about some. I bet you won't debate Captain Tazariak. And 3 is generous. Yeah.
That's because he got spotted 3 points. That was the only reason. Yeah.
Hey,
as I was saying before, you
uh,
saw that interview, that debate, Sierra, with Jay Dwyer and Captain Cesario.
hey, unlost. Hold on. Hey, unlost. You gotta, if you're gonna engage them and you want to engage them, this is what you do, right? Change your profile picture to like some kind of moon or something. Or don't put it as a black person. I ain't saying do that. Just change your voice. Get a voice changer and make your profile picture something else. I told Dave to do that too. What's this East Indian Muslim talking about? You see, that's what I'm talking about, man. Y'all have nothing to offer anybody.
Sick burn, bro. Holy moly donut shop.
Y'all got nothing to offer except that. That's it. I don't get emotional though. I don't do the emotional thing. So you can have it. But if you ever show your face and I see it, no. I cook Dwayne all I cook Dwayne all the time. Yeah, that's Killmonger. That's what that is. That's Killmonger, y'all. He's back.
Mr. Hebrew one.
Yeah, that's Killmonger.
That's what's funny is I just invited him up.
That's Killmonger.
I just was going through.
Dude, you have nothing to offer.
Be quiet.
I have nothing to offer. Why don't you come up and see? Come up and see if I had something to offer. You East Indian? No. I'm West African. I came from the same place a lot of the transatlantic slave trade people came from. Came from them places.
You never did your DNA, Dwayne?
Oh yeah, I did it. I did it.
Is
It's
it
like,
majority West African?
man, it's like 88%.
What was the other? 12?
I had like 1% Welsh. Like
You had some Irish?
Welsh.
You had no Irish?
Nope. About 2% Scandinavian. There were some other ones too. Philippines.
Philippine.
Yeah, real low, like a point 00 something.
Was that mysteriously added in there, or you familiar with your family that had?
No, I ain't familiar with none of that. I ain't familiar with them. No.
Yeah. Ancestry.
I know my great. I don't know how. That's why I got to do a different test because I know my great grandfather and great grandmother Indian natives. I made Dwayne and Dave change a whole floor. I made Dwayne and Dave changed a whole floor. I cooked them on. Boy, he lying 100% Ethiopian. So you don't believe the descendants of transatlantic slave trade are Israelites? No, I don't believe every last one of them is. It's some could be, but ain't none of them. None of them no pure blooded Israelite at all. There is no such thing as a pure blood Israelite. There's no such thing. It hasn't been since they left Egypt. As soon as they came out, they start intermingling with other nations, other women, other nations. So yeah, Minister Meach, that's Killmonger. Minister Meach, that's Killmonger. Yeah, a lot of these people in America that's claiming to be Israelites because of the transatlantic slave trade, they don't even realize that a lot of they don't even realize that a lot of their their great greats, the slave masters, had their way with them so they can make some lighter skinned babies. I won't identify with a Negro. I am a Negro. What is wrong with you? I am the Negro according to what they say Negroes are. You slow? Canaanites mixed with Israel. Yeah, they mixed with a lot of Hamites.
Yep.
They mixed with most of all Jacob's sons married and had children with Hamites. That's just what they did, and that's a fact. No, trying to do nothing with it.
I was reading up this morning. I don't understand why they say that he cursed Ham. He didn't curse Ham. He just cursed his fourth son, which was Canaan. That was the only one he cursed.
And then listen to this. They can't even be honest. They won't even be honest enough to say it's a possibility because they go by you are what your father is. They won't even be honest enough to say it's a possibility that somewhere down the line one of the mothers in my lineage was essayed by a slave master. They won't even say that. They won't even say it's a possibility. They just automatically know they Israelite by their father, then the father, then the father, then the father, all the way back through Africa, all of the African time, all of the time that the so-called Israelites was in Africa, in the kingdom of Judah, they claiming, right? The whole time they won't even admit that they don't know. They won't even say we don't know if our father is a different nation. We don't know. They won't even go as far as to say that because they love. Remember what I always tell y'all. They love being Israelites. They love being Hebrew Israelites more than they love telling the truth. That's just a fact. The truth is, it's a possibility I might not, according to my father, if that's the doctrine, I might not be an Israelite. That's the truth. But they won't even say that because the truth is too much for them. It's a possibility that I could be an Israelite. That's a possibility. It don't take nothing away from who I am. It don't take nothing away from what I do. You hear me? But they feel like they're going to lose something if they start telling the truth.
Does it even add anything to you? That's the question. Exactly. I don't know. Here's the. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sue. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you good? Because look, some of them have awoken to being Israelites and still believe they curse. Like, what's the benefit? You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, so what's funny is my April Fool's joke that I posted. There's
good one.
People who are talking about maybe he is an Israelite and he just doesn't know it, something like that, right? Like, it could be. And it really makes you think. It's like, to your point, Dwayne, it's like, well, wait, if I could be an Israelite by their standard and not know it, then how is it they could also not be an Israelite and think they are? Like, why couldn't it go the opposite way? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Listen, Roscoe, all you got to do is hit that link. It's pinned. Hit that link on the chat and come up and show me I don't know anything and I ain't doing anything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change the live title to Deuteronomy 28 ain't talking about you. That's the new title. That's the new topic, y'all. Deuteronomy 28 ain't talking about you.
The way you about to start something with that one, Dwayne. Now that's fire right there, bro. The standard of evidence, if you're an Israelite, seems to be if you accept their teachings.
That's topic now.
You're an Israelite if you accept what they say. So, like, if I really did accept what they say, okay, now I might be an Israelite.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Yep. That's crazy that they try to apply it to modern situations. Like, they're so indoctrinated. It's like it doesn't matter what the text says. It genuinely doesn't matter. Their theology determines what it means. The text doesn't determine their theology.
There it is. Deuteronomy 28:68 is not talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Did God cast away his people? The scriptures already told us that he hasn't.
Hebrews 11:1.
Romans 11. I mean Romans 9.
Romans 11. I meant that's what I meant. Romans 11:1, not Hebrews. You about to start something, Dwayne? You ever had that title before? We've talked about this a lot, Odamai. I know y'all talk about it, but as a title, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, he got it up there last week.
Okay. Here's the reality. Let's just summarize it. In Deuteronomy chapter 28, Egypt is mentioned 3 times. Nobody disputes that the first 2 references are to literal Egypt. So why is the third? In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17. What?
Hold on.
You want me to summarize it? Okay.
No.
Just trying to, okay.
Hey, real Coach 1. You say, okay, you're done. Because God didn't cast away his people, I'm done. That's why I'm done. That's crazy. Hey, everybody in the chat, I want everybody, all of our brothers and sisters, send a prayer up for our brother Jay Carpenter. Y'all just send some prayers up for the brother. You in our prayers for sure, Jay. Yeah, but real Coach 1, that's crazy. Like, you can hit the link and you can come up and I can show you. You got your understanding on that verse is actually off.
Egypt does not mean bondage.
No, it doesn't.
It means two straits.
The double straits. That's what it means. It's talking about the two seas, the 2 bodies of water that parallel each other.
Yep.
What's up, Baruch? Drop me. I ain't trying to get it.
Egypt means bondage, gang. No, it does not. Egypt means double straits.
What about spiritual Sodom in Egypt? Because that's the.
Does it say spiritual?
It don't say spiritual in Deuteronomy 28.
Are the first 2 references to Egypt spiritual, or the first 2 references literal?
No, the one that I just referenced was in Revelations.
No, I know. That's the point. Is like when it means, it says spiritual. But also, there's 3 references to Egypt in Deuteronomy 28. Hold on. So what about the first 2?
Hey, why don't you hit that button? Hit that request box right there. So Egypt is not a place. That's the point. That's the point. Egypt is a place. It's a literal place. It's not talking about something spiritual. And that's what we're going to go through whenever y'all braving, if any of y'all brave enough to come up. Because I know, y'all used to dealing with the people that don't know the Bible. And when y'all see somebody that know the Bible, it's road running time. Meet. Oh, my goodness. Why would it say, hold on, why? Listen to what it says. He says, why would it say Egypt and bondage in the same verse? Make it make sense. Where do it say that in Deuteronomy 28:68?
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
It don't say that in Deuteronomy 28:68. Egypt is just not a place. It's a mindset. The Bible, you ain't get that out the Bible. You ain't get that in the Bible don't say it's a mindset.
What are the boils?
Dave.
Sorry. It's like they just don't
let go of the reins.
And think. They don't read and think. It drives me crazy.
Wait, so y'all believe that they went to Egypt twice? Did you read the book of Jeremiah?
Or Isaiah.
Or Isaiah? Did you not read the Bible? He said twice. He said, y'all believe that they went to Egypt twice.
So in the first century, there was this dude running around named Philo of Alexandria.
Some Hebrews know the truth too. We don't talk to a lot of them then.
Dave, you're shot. You're lagging.
Dave, you breaking up real bad. Why does nobody want to go in the box? Because they scared, Natasha. They used to talking to people that they can run through. When it come to me and in our panel,
can you hear me now?
When it come to my panel, it's like thumb thugging time.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dave. Yeah, I'm gonna stop hanging with y'all because I can't go on none of the Hebrew Israelites' spot.
Why did Christ speak in parables? Why did Christ speak in parables? So that hearing they may hear not, and seeing they may see it, that they may see not. But he revealed the parables unto the apostles. That's why we listen to what the apostles say and not what y'all say. Because the apostles actually got the understanding from Jesus. So when y'all come in 2026 saying something the apostles never said, it's a big red flag. None of the apostles ever asked anybody who their daddy is. None of the apostles ever asked what's your nationality. None of the apostles ever asked anybody who they were. They always pointed people to Christ. And y'all don't do that. So that's why when y'all say stuff, it's considered lies because the apostles never said it. And the topic is Deuteronomy 28:68 is not about you. Has nothing to do with the transatlantic slave trade. And if you're not scared and unprepared, you can come up and challenge me on that so I can show everybody.
And what's kind of odd about Deuteronomy 28:68, I believe it says, no man shall buy you. And they say that word buy means redeem. So I always ask them, Dave, I always say, okay, so if that means redeem in that certain part of the text, right, Deuteronomy 28:68, no man shall buy you, it means that it'll redeem. Is that the same case with Leviticus 25 when it says you can buy the heathens? Does it mean you can redeem the heathens?
Nope.
Well, for them, I mean, well, also in Leviticus 25, when it says you redeem your brother, is it the same word?
It's not the same word. Dwayne, you still scared of me.
Mr. Hebrew one, come on.
That's Killmonger, Dave.
Oh, gosh.
That's Killmonger.
So somebody brought up Exodus 13:3. Look, nobody denies that Egypt was a house of bondage.
This dude is
That's
lost.
not the issue.
This dude is lost, but I bet you won't. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. You can finish.
The issue is not that Egypt was a house of bondage. Egypt being a house of bondage does not make any place of bondage Egypt. So, Babylon was in Egypt. Assyria was in Egypt. Egypt is Egypt.
Hey, hold on. Hey, DJ, you see, because you have nothing to offer anybody, you have no information, you have no truth to present, you got to start throwing attacks. And we get it, because you don't have anything to offer anybody except the attacks, except disrespect, because you have no truth. If you had truth, you would be able to come up and demonstrate the truth. But because you don't have truth, it's always attack with you. And we get it. I get it. Low tier, bottom of the shelf, dragging on the floor, understanding. I get it. So why would you post anything other than disrespectful comments?
What he's actually saying, bro, when you walk,
it tells you crazy. It tells you crazy.
So, yeah, come up or be quiet. You know what I'm saying?
Your answer don't line up completely with Matthew 13, 10, 11. Hit the request box. Hit that link in the chat. It's pinned. Thumb thugging is at an all-time high these days. We got you. I ain't gonna lie. We got y'all scared. I wasn't gonna say that before, but we got y'all scared.
This is why the topic of most Israelites, I think it was Odomai making the point earlier.
We got y'all
TikTok,
scared.
I mean, there's a few, like the really, really low tier ones that still talk about salvation being only for Israel. But the main ones nowadays that used to try to talk about that, they don't talk about it anymore. They've accepted it.
Hey, Natasha, I like to engage the audience no matter who it is. So it's fine with me. It's fine with me.
They say it's two different salvations now. They say, there's salvation for the Gentiles, just not the same salvation for Israel.
Hey, you know what? We just gonna go through this because since y'all scared and unprepared, we just gonna go through the Deuteronomy 28:68 thing right now. Because I understand y'all scared and y'all want to hear the arguments. What's up, Edward?
Are you 100% sure that Mr. Hebrew one is what's his name? Because he tried.
Oh yeah, bring him up. Bring him up. You'll see.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm gonna ask the same question, Dave.
He's gone now.
He's gone.
He's still there. I just invited him. Oh, he didn't.
Okay, you beat me to it, is why.
Oh, what happened to him?
I think he ducked out.
He must have ducked out.
There you go. Oh no, that's the other guy. I'm trying to learn salvation preach the Bible is only for Israel. No, the Bible don't say that, Rudy. Ruby. The Bible don't say that. They lied to you. They lied to you. The Bible don't say that.
Just go read Jeremiah 12:14-16. God sits there and says, if you'll learn the ways of my people, I will build you up among them. How is that salvation only for Israel?
Kiera. We praying for you, D. We praying for you. I thought they supposed to be tough and stuff. They used to be. It doesn't. It says that, but no one will buy you, Mitch.
I was just about to ask that again.
It said no one will buy you.
Where do we see the actual redeemed concept happening?
Go to Isaiah. Let me show you something. I'm gonna take you to Isaiah right quick. Isaiah 52, I think it is. Let me show you right quick. You see, this is Isaiah 52, verse 3 says, for thus saith the Lord, you have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. You see that, right? You see that, right? You heard that?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so the Hebrew word for redeem is, guess what? It's goal. Goal. Goal.
I thought it was Kanah.
Strong's H 1350.
No, Kanah's by.
Gaal. It's Gaal, right? Hold on, let me share the screen right quick.
Kanah means to get, acquire, buy.
This is why their understanding of what it means to buy is a lie, because they're denying what the Hebrew says. They're denying that word in the Hebrew. I'm gonna read this verse again. And guess what? You see where it says, for thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for naught. The same word for you have sold yourselves, that same word is malkar. That's the same word that's in Deuteronomy 28:68 for you shall be sold. It's the same word, malkar. It means to sell or offer yourself for sale. That's what the word malkar means. But the verse here says, and ye shall be redeemed without money. But that's a different word than Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 so y'all can see this and y'all can stop lying. I know y'all gonna see it and still lie, but for the rest of y'all that ain't gonna see it and lie, I'm gonna take y'all to it so y'all can see this. This is Deuteronomy 28:68 again. For the word shall buy. Let's look at it. And no man shall buy you. So the word there is shall buy. That's the Hebrew word there. Those two words is one word in the Hebrew, and that one word is
Strong's H 7069. Kanah.
Totally different word. This word in Deuteronomy 28 means to acquire or purchase. It means to acquire something by or obtain it by buying it. That's what the word means. And if you deny that, say what?
When you look in the blue letter, the last time I checked, I could have swore it said for some of the biblical usages for Kanah, there is redemption.
That's the only time Kanah is used for redemption is when the Most High, when God is originating, creating, and redeeming his people. That's the only time that word is used when it's attached to the Most High. That's if he's the one redeeming them. That's the only time, but that's not how this word is used in this verse. In this verse, it's not used for God redeeming. It's used for purchasing, acquiring. That's what the word is used in the text, because it doesn't say, "And the Lord your God shall not buy you." It says, "And no man shall buy you." So that's a different word entirely.
And it's odd because to even make that argument, because if Israel is the one being sold into slavery, then obviously there's no one to redeem them as a kinsman redeemer.
Yeah, how you gonna get redeemed if y'all all going into slavery? But think about it, y'all. Hold on. Think about it. If the verse does say what they think the verse means, right? If the verse means what they, if the word there for buy means to redeem, like they say, and it says no one is going to redeem you, how do you have in America during those times, after the slave days, right? How do you have African Americans buying the freedom of other slaves? How do you have abolitionists buying freedom of slaves? When the Most High said nobody is going to be able to buy you, that's what if the word is redeemed, when he says that, that's what he means. That's exactly what he means. It says, "And no man shall buy you." So y'all, let's go through this. I forgot. Let's go through this. So Deuteronomy 28, for the Hebrew Israelites, it only works in the King James Version. This verse only works in the King James Version. It only works in the King James Version. Let me show you how and show you why. Right? We're going to read it in the King James Version. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again," meaning they've been there before, "again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies." That word for "sold," you shall be sold, is malkar. It means to offer yourselves for sale unto your enemies. Remember, I told y'all the King James Version is a good translation, but it does not always give you the intentions of the writers. It don't tell you what their intentions was when they wrote these words.
Man, I gotta go check with Jay the Jew on this one.
Yeah. All right, so look, it's the King James Version.
Because Jay's a scholar.
I was hoping you was joking. Jesus have mercy.
Hey, look. So we're gonna look at the ESV. We're gonna look at what it says in the ESV. It says, "And the Lord will bring you back in ships to Egypt, a journey that I promised that you should never make again. And there you shall offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer." In ASB 95, "The Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships by the way about which I spake to you. You will never see it again. And there you will offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer." This is the LSB. It's my favorite top three. "And Yahweh will bring you back to Egypt in ships by the way about which I spoke unto you. You will never see it again. And there you will offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer." Let's go back to the KJV. So they say that this is just that the word here, Egypt, is only talking about a spiritual place. The ships are literal, but Egypt is spiritual, right? That's what they say, right? So why would he say, if it's spiritual, why would he say, "By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again"? He's telling them they're never going to see spiritual Egypt again? Is that what he's telling them? The KJV is the most accurate to the original Greek and Hebrew? No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. Christian, it's not. They found manuscripts after they found the Masoretic, after the Masoretic text and the Texas Receptors. They found manuscripts that are older.
And we know Koine Greek and ancient Hebrew better today than they did then. So
it's not perfect, but no, it's not even close to being the most. No, Christian, come on now. All right, yeah, that's ludicrous. That's a ludicrous statement right there.
And the NSAB is more accurate.
Yeah, the NSB 95 is more accurate than the King James version. But anyway, again, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof. So is he telling them, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again? Is he telling them that they're never going to see a spiritual place again or a literal place? It got to be a literal place, right? By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So look, let's go back to Deuteronomy 17 and one more time, 16 one more time. Is it 16, 17 or 17? Yeah, 16, 17. No, 17, 6. Deuteronomy 17, 16. But he shall not multiply horses to himself. This is, when they verse 15 says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But he, talking about the king, but he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt. Is he saying that he should not cause the people to return to a spiritual place? Is that what he's saying? You shall not cause the people to return to a spiritual place. No, he's talking about actual Egypt. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, or to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. So don't send you can't even send the people to Egypt to buy horses. For as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. Look what it says again. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So he already told them that they wasn't going to see it again, because he told them that they couldn't go back to Egypt to even buy horses. He didn't even want them to go that way anymore. So in Deuteronomy 28:68, he's referring to the same place, not just some spiritual mindset, an actual place. Because when he says in verse 55, no, not verse 55, hold on. What does it say? The botch of Egypt. This 60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of. He ain't telling them that that's a spiritual place. He's saying the diseases, all the diseases that happened in the land of Israel, of Egypt, because they was afraid of those diseases. So he's telling them, I'm gonna send them diseases upon you. So that's talking about the actual place. Here where it says the botch of Egypt, that's talking about the literal place. So when you get down to verse 68, there ain't no way in the world it's talking about some other place. It's talking about the literal place. That's why it says no one shall buy you. If the scripture says no man shall buy you, you would have to explain why were they able to be bought out of slavery. You would have to explain that. So who it's about? It's about the people it actually happened to. It's about them. It happened to these people. Look what else it says. It says, and ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. He said you're going to be left few in number. If you add up all of the descendants of the slave trade that went to South America, right? That came here, that went to other places around the world. If you add all of them up, that ain't few in number. That's the majority. But look what's more important. More importantly, look what it says.
Can you read before you after you read that? Can you read verse 49 and verse 67?
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go. You said 67?
Yeah.
In the morning thou shalt say, would to God it was even. And at even thou shalt say,
64, my bad. 64.
and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Right. So you see how he said he gonna bring a nation from far, then he gonna scatter them all over the earth. So my point is, if they all going back into literal Egypt, how can they all be getting scattered all over the earth at the same time, all going into literal Egypt at the same time? If that's talking about.
So are both of these things happening to all of them, or some of these two things that's happening? Are all of them being scattered?
Hold on, say that again. My
bad. According to verse 68, are all of them going to Egypt? Because that's what it seems like you're saying.
I mean, well, for the most part, yeah.
So all of them to Egypt.
No. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh.
How can they? Yeah, it's all of them going into Egypt.
Well, this. If you line this up, right? If you line this up with Luke 2, right? Luke 20, what is it? Luke 22?
Luke 21.
Yeah, Luke 21. If you line it up with Luke 21, right? Let me show you this real quick. This is Luke 21, and we'll start at verse 20. It says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child and them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Where are they falling by the edge of the sword at?
In Jerusalem.
Where are they being taken from and led into all of the world?
Where they being taken from?
Yeah.
From Jerusalem. But notice how I say all nations. That's why I had told you to read verse 64.
No. We get into it. We get into it. Where are they being taken from Jerusalem, right?
Right.
You see this verse?
That's where the scattering process is going to start from.
Yeah, you see this verse says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things that are written may be fulfilled.
Right.
So he says, when this happened, this is the days when all things that are written are going to be fulfilled. So in those days, right?
Well, hold on. So you saying prophecy is going to be fulfilled after that?
No. The days of vengeance. Because remember, Deuteronomy 28 is, according to the text itself, is talking about the land of Israel, the promised land that they're going to possess. That's what the whole view is. The whole view is talking about Jerusalem. All of the blessings is talking about the promised land. All of the curses are talking about the promised land. So all of the vengeance, hold on. All of the vengeance that's going on in Deuteronomy 28 is what Luke is talking about in Luke chapter 21. It's the same thing, and I'll prove it to you that it's the same thing.
I disagree when you say all the curses.
No. All of the curses do take place in the land of Egypt.
Because when you read verse 45 and verse 46, it tells you that the curses is going to be upon thy seed forever. Then it tells you he's going to scatter them. So when they get scattered, they still going to be dealing with these curses.
No.
Listen. When you read Jeremiah I think it's chapter 24, verse 9, it tells you that Israel is going to be a curse in all the nations.
Yeah, that's before Christ, though. All of that's before Christ. Because if you think that word forever is talking about eternity, you would have to explain why none of this stuff is still. Hold on. You would have to explain.
You said this before Christ. You said
all of this stuff is all this stuff happened before Christ redeemed people. Hold on, listen. All of this is before.
You just said that. You just said some of this stuff happened in 70 AD, and 70 AD is after Christ.
Right.
So how can it?
Did you hear what Jesus said when he said, "These be the days"? Who was Jesus warning to leave Jerusalem?
Hold on, you just said.
I heard what I just said. We know what I just said. Who was he telling to flee Jerusalem?
The Jews that was there.
The ones that believed in him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now.
You can't say. Hold on. You can't say all of the curses, all of that's before Christ. But then
all of these things were spoken before Christ was born.
No, you just said all of this happened before.
I said all of these curses are before Christ leaves the scene.
No, but you just said that some of this is going to take place in 70 AD.
No, Jesus said that these be the days of vengeance where all things is going to be fulfilled. The curses were already pronounced on the Israelites before Jesus left the scene. So after he leaves the scene, he says the days are coming when he's not going to be there, when all things that are written, the days of vengeance are going to be fulfilled. And these are the days of vengeance that's spoken of in Deuteronomy 28, all the way down from the curses on down.
Right, because Deuteronomy 28 is reoccurring.
No, it's not. Then you got to explain something. Hold on. You got to explain. Wait a minute. You got to explain why aren't these things happening to African Americans in America?
It has happened to African Americans.
What? He didn't say some of these things. He didn't say some of them. He did not say some of them. He said all of these things shall come upon you.
Name one captivity that they went through every single curse in one geographical location at once.
I'll do you one even better. Show me one place in the Bible where they were taken into captivity from any other place but the land that they was going to possess.
I agree with you.
Every time they went into captivity, they were taken from the land.
Right. The scattering process starts in 70 AD. From there, they get scattered everywhere. But then it continues. The scattering process just don't stop once they get scattered. They still are going to be scattered from those other places as well. That's why it tells you he's going. Hold on. That's why it tells you he's going to scatter them to the four corners of the earth.
Let me show you.
No.
Let me
land my point.
No, you don't have a point. You don't have a point. You don't have a point. Because no, you don't have a point because I'm about to finish what this little breakdown I'm giving. You don't have a point. So let me show y'all about this days of vengeance. You ain't got to keep saying wow. You could just mute up for a second. In Luke 21, verse 22 says, "For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that give suck, to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days." Why is that? Why is that? Because it's talking about the vengeance that is coming. So what does he say in Deuteronomy 28, verse 52? It says, "And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates." That's 70 AD. Ain't nobody, listen, don't never put I'm running from nothing, because I'm finishing the breakdown that I was given before you interrupted, before you stepped in. So don't never say I'm running, because you're not nobody to run from. Right? Right, Chris? Right? Right, Chris?
I can't just finish my
point. Did you not come in the middle of me trying to break this down? And ask me a question? No, I did not. You see, you just lied. I can go to the replay right now, Chris, and show you that you stepped into the middle of it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so don't never say nobody running from you.
So how many times you cut me off?
It don't matter. You came in the middle of me breaking down. You came in the middle of me doing this. You came in the middle of me doing the breakdown. No, don't tell. Listen, I'm going to land it when I land it. And you going to wait, or you can leave. That's as simple as it is.
Is this the same Chris that went one day?
Yeah.
Oh my!
It says, "And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest, throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in thy gates, throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee. Let's go back to Luke 21 real quick to show you again why Jesus said what he said. Luke 21. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. So the reason why he told them, woe unto you that are with child, is because of what Deuteronomy 28 says, the days of vengeance that are going to happen because of their disobedience. This is why he said, woe unto them that are with child, because of the curse that was already pronounced for their disobedience. Once again, thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. That's why he said it. Verse 54. So that a man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So notice that Jesus warned the disciples that was listening. He said, when you see these things happening, he tells them to flee. And the people that are not in the country, he says, don't even come back into the city, because the days of vengeance are poured out upon the place. So if Deuteronomy 28, right, tells us about the destruction of Jerusalem, right, the land that they're going to possess, they're going to be besieged in all of thy gates and all of their cities and in Jerusalem. What else could this be talking about other than what Jesus had told the people was going to happen during the days of vengeance? So if you keep looking at this, and brothers like Christopher here, right, they say that this stuff happens is about the transatlantic slave trade because they see similarities, right? Correlation does not equal causation. So just because they see things that are similar to what happened, they attach it to these verses here. But these verses are very direct, right? When it says, when it says, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, it didn't say some of them. Because if this is talking about the people in America, verse 68 is very clear. It says, no man shall buy you. So if nobody's going to be able to buy you, these people got to explain why was slaves bought out of. These people got to These people got to explain why was slaves. Hey man, listen. You don't see me talking? You don't see me talking? Do you see me talking?
You got red balls, kid.
I mean, like, I don't know if it ain't hard. It ain't hard. You know, you can start you alive and talk about Deuteronomy 28 if you want to. I'm in the middle of this already. Listen what it says here. It says, moreover, this is verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee. If this is talking about the people in America, there's a whole lot of people in America that don't care nothing about no Most High, don't care nothing about no Jesus, don't care nothing about nobody. And they're not experiencing these things, and they're descendants of the slave trade. So they should be experiencing, if this is talking about the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not to the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. A lot of these people say they keeping the commandments, right? They say they say they the only ones doing what God told them to do, right? Why are they still experiencing these things then? Why they still say they cursed? They still cursed and doing what he told them to do. It don't make sense, right? Look what else it says. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The only reason why slaves had those things with the bells on them around their neck is because they were runaways. They couldn't work like that in the field with those things on their necks. And these yoke of irons were supposed to be put on them to destroy them, not to keep them from running. It was to destroy until he have destroyed thee. Right? If you just put all this stuff, if you just look at all this stuff, right? If you just look at it and be honest with it, say, right? In verse 33, it says, the fruit of thy land. They ain't gonna tell you that that's talking about America. They're never gonna say that this verse is talking about America. They're never gonna say verse 31 where it says, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from you before your face, and it shall not be restored to thee. Your sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue. They won't never say that that's talking about America. The only thing talking about America is the things that they want to be talking about America, right? Yoke of iron Google pictures. I already talked about that. Those were put on runaway slaves and they had bells on them so the slave master can hear them running. Look what it says here in verse 33 again.
You telling me our people wasn't destroyed during those times? You telling me our people was not destroyed during those times?
Do you know what destroy mean? Do you know what destroy mean?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It means mentally and physically.
Okay, so explain this verse right here. Is this verse talking about America? The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not shall eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Is that talking about slaves in America?
Yes. Was they not crushed and destroyed?
It doesn't say for a short period of time, for 200 some years. It says only oppressed and crushed always. Always.
Right.
That means what?
Those times was our people.
No, not it don't say during those times. It don't say. You see how you already quoted forever. You said these things shall be upon them forever. You already quoted that, right? So is this talking about for a time period or forever? Is it talking about when it says crushed? When it says crushed always, is that talking about for a time period? Huh? You breaking up, man. I can't hear you, man. Yeah, I can't hear you. So when did slaves own land in America? That you know, when did they own sheep, oxen, cattle? Look what it says here in verse 29, y'all. It says, and thou shalt grope at noonday. Yeah, hold on. It says, thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Is that talking about America too?
Yeah, it's talking about many captives. It's not only talking about America, but it's talking.
It ain't talking about America at all because it says only be oppressed and spoiled evermore.
That's why I tried to bring up verse 45 to verse 46 when it says the curses is going to be upon thy seed forever. So that's how you know this is a recurrent thing, because when you look at the history during Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Rome, 70 AD, they went through the curses during all those captivities. So when I'm trying to explain to you is that, just let me finish. When I'm trying to explain to you is that when we're here, through the transatlantic slave trade, that's when these curses started to reoccur again. And we know that is because when we go to verse 64, and we go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 28, it tells you he's going to scatter them all over the earth. That's why I'm glad that you brought up Luke 21, verse 24, when he said, you will be scattered into all nations. So that means if we're going to be scattered all over the earth, that means at some point in time, we're going to have to get scattered off into the Americas. So if the transatlantic slave trade is not a part of that scattering, in what time and point in history did the Israelites get scattered off to the Americas? And I do agree that the starting point does start in Jerusalem during the time of 70 AD
when Jerusalem fell and many Jews started migrating all throughout Africa and Europe and many parts of Asia. But at some point, they're going to have to get scattered off to the Americas and be in captivity because they're going to be so all over the place. That's why we can go to end time Bible prophecy. We can go to Joel chapter 3 and we can go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and we see the children, the descendants of the children of Israel is still going to be living in all the lands where they were sold unto, and they're going to be in the land of their captivity. There's only one group of people I know that was scattered and sold all over the world and still living in the same places where they were sold unto.
Hey, hold on. When they left Babylon, was they still living in Babylon? Did they stay in Babylon?
No, they was delivered and was brought back. Right. We just have not been delivered yet. That's the point. We're going
See,
to
that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Hold on, that's the problem because when you try to hold on to what was stated in Deuteronomy 28, you miss the whole point of what Jesus' coming was for, right? What his sacrifice was for. You're missing the whole point. How can somebody, hold on, listen, how can somebody, because you're supposed to be redeemed, right? How can somebody?
I am personally.
So you're not experiencing these things anymore.
No, I'm not. Me personally,
but
I'm not.
hold on. So you're not personally. But so why is it that there are people that have not been redeemed in America? A whole lot of them that have not been redeemed. So, excuse me, Soup. I don't know. I didn't know if you was off. If you knew you was off mute. There's a whole lot of people in America that hasn't been redeemed, don't care about being redeemed, and they're not experiencing any of these things. Why is that? If they're the people.
Well, Israel is going through this as a nation.
No, they're not. They're not a nation anymore like that anymore.
As a whole, we do see our people going through a lot of these things.
No, you don't. Which one of y'all eating y'all children?
Well, that happened in 70 AD.
So that's not gonna follow you. So that's one of the curses that's not gonna follow you on your seeds.
Hold on. Every single curse is not gonna all happen in one geographical location.
When have there ever been a time of the slaves in America eating their own children? When have that ever been a time?
Did they do that in Babylon?
When? No, they did it in Jerusalem. They did it in Jerusalem. They were already scattered. Listen. They were already scattered in Babylon. They were already taken from the land. So they wouldn't have to do it there. The thing is, it's talking about Jerusalem.
You telling me they didn't go through the curses in Babylon? Did they go through the curses in Babylon, yes or no?
The culmination of all of the curses is them being taken away from the land. That's the culmination of the curses.
Right, and that happened. They was taken away from the land to Babylon.
Exactly, right? So now, hold on, listen to what you just said. Listen to what you just said. No, stop. You're not answering the question. You're not answering it.
Yes, you did.
No, you did not answer the question.
And I told you, no, we didn't eat our babies in America.
Okay, but if that's one of the things that's going to happen, why is that not happening?
And I'm asking you, why did that not happen in Babylon?
Because they were already taken from the land.
Right. So, but you do agree that they went through the curses during the time of Babylon, right?
They went through the people that this was supposed to happen to. It happened to them, is what I'm saying.
Just answer that.
No, I already answered your question. Answer my question. Why isn't it happening?
Is that a yes or no?
Is what a yes or a no?
Did they suffer any of the curses during the time of the Babylon captivity?
Yeah, they were taken from the land. That's a part of the curses. Okay, so now answer my question. Answer my question now. No. Answer my question now. No, I didn't even ask it yet. I ain't even asked it yet.
Yes, you did. You asked us, did we eat our babies?
No, I didn't. That's not my question. I didn't say did you. I'm not asking you did they. I asked you why isn't this still happening?
I'm telling you, every single curse is not happening, but they never suffered every single curse.
And this is why I tell you, y'all don't believe in the. This is why I tell y'all don't believe the Bible.
No, listen. That's why I brought up the Babylon captivity, and you said they went through the curses during the time of the Babylon captivity. And I asked you, did they eat their babies during the time of the Babylon captivity? You said no.
I don't know if they listen. I don't know if they did, but the Bible don't say they did. But I do know one thing: they were taken already from the land. So it doesn't matter if they ate their children, because remember, they went back to the land, right? Okay, so now, hold on. Why? Listen, why does verse 45 say all of these curses are going to come upon you if it doesn't mean that?
Well, that has happened. It started in.
Show me a time since the people of Israel, that y'all say are the people that came on a slave ship, show me a time where they were eating their children.
We didn't eat our children in America.
Where? Where did it happen?
It happened in 70 AD in Jerusalem. So hold on. So the Jews didn't eat their babies in 70 AD.
Yeah, they're not the same people that came on the slave ships.
That's his point. So
that's that's exactly what I'm saying.
They are.
No, they're not.
Hold on. So you said the people. So you still hasn't answered my question. That's where I brought up verse 64 when it says they're going to be scattered everywhere, and it tells you that in Deuteronomy 4:28. So that means, and it tells you that in Luke 21. So
it happened to them.
That means, so when did the Israelites get? If the transatlantic slave trade is not a part of the scattering that God is speaking about, what time and point in history did the Israelites get scattered altogether?
It ain't no telling what time of point in history when they went to. Hold on. Listen. Listen. Stop doing rapid questions and listen, man. Stop doing rapid questions and listen. You said what? You said what time period when if it wasn't the transatlantic slave trade, right? Because you can't just do that for the transatlantic slave trade. You would have to show a time when they went to China, or a time when they went to North Korea, or a time when you would have to do all of that, and you ain't doing. You can't do none of that, right?
Wait. Don't you believe? Wait, hold on, Chris. Do you believe that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites?
Well, I don't know about Hispanics and Native Americans.
Okay.
I want to say I know for sure they are or not. But from my own knowledge, I would say no. I would say the Hispanics and Native Americans are not.
Okay, so because if so, then that would defeat your own argument.
That don't make no sense.
That's camp doctrine.
Because that means the Irish people are Israelites, right? Because they went on slave ships and was scattered, right?
Everywhere.
The Elamites were scattered everywhere. Egyptians were scattered everywhere, according to the Bible.
By force?
Does it matter if it was by force or not?
Yes. By force. It doesn't matter by force. Because that's what's happening. That's what we read.
Yeah, they went by force.
Okay, so let's just revisit
Yes.
Can you prove that?
Book, chapter, verses. Hold on, let's get the Bible verse for us because there's people listening. Yeah.
You want Egypt or Ezekiel?
You said the Edomites got scattered.
I said the Elamites. Elamites.
By force. So meaning they was taken against their will and brought all across and shipped all across the world.
Yeah, the Bible says that they was. Yeah, the Bible says the Most High is going to scatter them to the four corners of the earth.
Right, we talking about by force, by a whole nother nation. By a whole nother nation. You can't compare that to Deuteronomy 28.
How come you can't? Hold on, I'm using your understanding. Hold on, listen. I'm using your understanding of Deuteronomy 28. It don't matter who the group is about. According to your understanding, people being taken and scattered all over the world, that would make them the Israelites, right? Because that's what happened to the transatlantic slave trade, right?
It is by force. You want me to read it?
It has to happen the way. It has to
let me read it. Let me read it. Let's read it.
Hold on. The Lord said.
Let me read it.
The Lord said He would bring the nation from the end of the earth and swift as the eagle fly. Tongues thou shalt not understand. And we know that happened with us. We know nations came from far capturing us, and they didn't speak the same language as us, and they scattered and sold us across the earth. That did happen during the transatlantic. That happened during. This happened many times.
So you're assuming
every time it happened, it happened in the land.
Listen. Listen.
Nah, mute up. Read the verse.
How y'all can say, I don't
Chris,
understand
let
how
me
y'all
read the
Yeah,
text.
just read the Bible.
how y'all can say.
Okay,
Just
I'm
read the
reading
Bible.
now. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will break the bow of Edom.
You said
Elam,
every curse don't have
the
to happen
chief
in
of their
every
might,
captivity.
and upon
The,
Elam
the,
I will
the, the
bring
Bible
four
says,
winds
Deuteronomy
from
says,
four
all
quarters
these
of heaven,
curses is going to come
and will
upon you
scatter the
and shall
reports
pursue
all
you.
those winds.
Y'all
And
saying
there
something
will
totally
be
different
no
than what the text
nation
says. That's why I
whither
told you,
the
y'all don't believe the
outcasts
Bible.
of Elam
Y'all
shall
don't believe the
not come.
Bible. It says what it
For I will
says.
cause Elam to
Fight
be
the Bible,
dismayed
not me.
before their enemies, and before them that seek their life. And I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith the Lord. And I will send the sword after them till I have consumed them. And I will set my throne in Elam, and will destroy from thence the king and the princes, saith the Lord. So God is, yes.
Now read about the Egyptians.
Okay. It's Ezekiel chapter 29. And it's
So being scattered to the four corners of the earth is one of his premises for being an Israelite.
Ezekiel 29, verse 13, 12. And I will make the land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate. And her cities among the cities that are laid waste shall be desolate 40 years. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and will disperse them through the countries. So the Egyptians got scattered too. So just being scattered does not make you an Israelite.
Exactly.
I mean, you said all the curses keep coming upon you, but then Dwayne pressed you on the eating of babies, and you're like, oh no, that didn't happen.
Right.
So clearly not all, even then you can't identify with all the curses that are in the text. The curses he highlighted about them, their land, the Israelites' land being taken and the product of the land being consumed by the other nations. You can't relate to that one either because that didn't happen.
Right. So it's like, it's insane.
It happened in 70 AD.
No.
That ain't got nothing to do with you.
You said the curses.
You said they following you after the scattering.
Right.
And those.
Why ain't they happening in America?
So we was hold on. So we didn't have yokes of iron upon our neck when we came over.
When did people in America eat their babies? When?
Hold on, listen.
Here's the problem, Chris.
When did people in Babylon? When did people in Babylon? When did people in Babylon eat their babies?
They did it in Jerusalem while they were under siege by Babylon.
Right. But
so here's the point we're trying to make, Chris, is yes, of course, you can identify with some of the curses. Anybody
can do that.
Ancestors who were taken captive and put into slavery can identify with some of the curses. But you cannot identify with all of them.
Because all of these happened to the people that it's written for. All of this stuff happened to them. And then when y'all get to America, you're going to say, well, all of it ain't happening to us. If it say all of them are going to pursue you, then wherever you go, that's what pursue means. It means it's going to chase you down. Your curse is chasing me down. It's chasing me down. That's what it says. It's going to follow you. So why aren't these things still happening in America to the people that don't care about the Most High?
Hold on.
Why?
So you saying for this to be speaking about us, every single thing has to be happening at one time.
I'm not saying it. The Bible is saying it. Verse 45. Moreover, all these. Be quiet, Chris, and listen. All these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue all of them.
I agree. It doesn't say all of them going to happen at one exact time. It doesn't say that. You trying to make
so what you're saying? Hold on. So what you're saying is, hold on. No. You hold on. I'm the hold owner. So what you're saying is the people in America, the slaves that came from the transatlantic slave trade, eventually are going to start eating their babies. since it ain't happened yet.
I'm saying it happened in 70 AD.
No. You said no. You already done told us that it's gonna come. You said when the transatlantic slave trade happened, you said the curses are following after that again.
Right. I didn't say every single curse.
But the verse says that.
No, at one time. Hold on. That's not. How can every single curse? How can you be cursed in your city, then get scattered off into another land? They have yokes of iron upon you.
Ask Israel, because it happened to them.
They all get scattered all over the earth.
Ask Israel.
At one exact time.
It happened to Israel, didn't it?
You trying to make your own.
Hold on. Did that happen to the people in Israel?
You trying to make your own narrative and say every single curse got to happen at the same exact time for you to be the children of Israel that the Bible.
Nope, that ain't what I said. That is what you. No, you're lying. Hold on, you're lying because I use no. Listen. I did not say that. I'm using your understanding. You said when the transatlantic slave trade happened that those curses came upon us again. They started coming upon us again. So I asked you, that was about 400 some odd years ago. So I'm asking you now, when are these things going to happen? Are they future things that's going to happen to the descendants of slave trades in America? Or is it because it says that they're only going to be oppressed and pressed down always? It says their hands are never going to be able to do anything. Anything they try to do is going to fail forevermore. So if that stuff is still happening, supposed to be still happening, when is it going to happen for y'all in America?
Daughter of Zion. That's a good point. Hold on. I'm about to answer that.
Man, you keep holding. Let me help you out.
Hold on, he asking me a question. I'm about to answer. He asking me a question.
You've been talking for a while, but I want to help you out.
It's happening now. You ain't eating your babies.
He asked me. Did he ask you the question or me? Focus, Chris. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to answer his question. Because you're not trying to make your own narrative.
I'm going to give it right to you. I'm going to show you, Chris. I'm going to show you where people were eating their babies in America. I'm going to show you. I'm going to help you out. I'm somewhat of a historian. So when the settlers came over here and settled in Jamestown, you know what? They did not do the necessary things to plant food to survive and found it really hard in Jamestown and actually began eating their babies. So when John Rolfe and them came over there right before they started selling tobacco, they found people eating their babies. This is documented. There's another incident where they were traveling west. These white settlers were traveling west, and there's something called the Donner Pass. Guess what? They ran out all
eating their babies
materials and stuff, and they was eating their babies. They got evidence of this. So if you're saying all of this, because this is during the transatlantic trade, you know what I'm saying? Then guess what? These curses came upon those white settlers, and there's many incidents of this. But guess who does not have any incidents of this? These Africans who came over during the transatlantic trade. So basically, there's no account of them ever eating their children. So
they cherry picking, man.
Hold on.
I ain't cherry picking nothing. I'm not cherry picking nothing. Just wanted to help you out there.
They cherry picking.
By us still being over there, ain't no telling what the future holds. Because we know when we read Jeremiah chapter 30. Hold on. We know when we read in Jeremiah chapter 30, and we read about the children of Israel going through the time of Jacob's trouble, we see that the children of Israel is in the land of their captivity. And we see that they've been scattered all over the earth and sold all over. This is end-time Bible prophecy. We can go to Joel chapter 3, and we see the children of Israel is living in the places where they've been sold unto. In end-time Bible prophecy. And the Most High said the time of Jacob's trouble will be a time like never before. So ain't no telling that we may start doing that. Well, I ain't gonna say me because
it ain't talking about y'all. It ain't talking about y'all. You can't just insert yourself into that. What'd you say, Marcel?
Jacob's trouble is not about us.
It ain't about I'm saying it ain't about the people from the transatlantic slave trade. No.
Right, and according to Daniel chapter 9, verse 27 specifically, that final week, that period of Jacob's trouble, which is thought to be the 7 years, is going to be happening in Jerusalem specifically. So no, that's debunked. No, that's a lie. Hold on. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter. Listen, I'm not them. I'm going to mute you. Hold on, bro. I'm about to give you Bible. No, be quiet. I'm going to give you Bible, right? You asked specifically, and the only reason why I came up here, come off mute again, I'm going to drop you. You came up here and asked specifically where in the Bible were they eating? Bro, stop coming out. You have no self-control. Come back up when I get done. So Limitations chapter 4, verse 10. Let's go to it. Limitations chapter 4, verse 10, it says, the hands of the compassionate women have cooked their own children. They became food for them in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Now, this is referring to a time before the Babylonian exile. The children of Israel were not following God's decrees. And in Limitations chapter 4, it says that the women started eating and cooking their own children. This was before the Babylonian exile, because according to Deuteronomy chapter 28, guess what? They weren't following all the decrees of God. So this famine even started before they were even taken out of their land. Actually, we see this later on. We see this earlier in Limitations chapter 2, verse 20. But then when we go to the Babylonian exile, this was the Babylonian exile in Limitations. We have Kings chapter 6. This was the Syrians that pressed them. So, I was wrong. Second Kings chapter 6, verse 28 and 29 is a couple years before the Babylonian exile. It reads this. This woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. Now, this is the siege of Samaria, bro. The Israelites were still in Samaria. This is before 2 Kings chapter 17 with the Assyrian conquest. So this was before the Babylonian exile, bro. In 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 29, Israel was again not following the laws of God. And before they even went into the Babylonian exile, they were eating their children. Okay? But then when we go to Limitations 4, we read Limitations 4. This is during the initial siege and the Babylonian invasion. They were then also cooking their children during Babylonian. You asked to see that where in the Bible. You said it don't say that in the Bible, but it do. So Brother Dwayne's point is, if these things followed them over different period of times, why now is it something that's not occurring? Simple. Because we see it in the Bible. Y'all just don't read. Y'all regurgitate information and think y'all know something when y'all don't know nothing. Y'all don't read. You go based off of what somebody else say rather than just read it for yourself, bro. Stop making up your own religion and read the Bible.
Notice one of the things Marcel brought out. So between Marcel and Dwayne, really, in both times where Israel went into captivity, both occasions, this eating of children thing happened. Both of them. And then it stops. Why? Because they were all then taken into captivity. And while, yes, they suffered oppression in captivity, they weren't re-scattered once they were already scattered.
Exactly.
You're already scattered. You
Hey,
have
look,
to be re-scattered.
this is what, and I'm just, and I didn't even intend on arguing with nobody, especially not no Chris, right? Because Chris was solid at first. But the thing is, you cannot claim Deuteronomy 28:60. You cannot claim the whole curse thing and just decide that some of the things are not going to happen when the scripture says all of the things is going to happen. All of them are going to happen, and all of them are going to pursue the people that it's talking about. You can't just decide to say, well, who else had iron the yokes on them? Who else was so well? Who else ate their babies? None of y'all did this. Your people didn't do this. There's no history, no recorded history of descendants of slaves eating their children. There was no need to, because a lot of the children were getting taken. You can't say some of them are happening. You can't say some, because the text says all. And anytime y'all try to say some, and what he tried to do is, at some point in time, all of this stuff is going to happen again. No, it don't work like that. Everything that's spoken of in these curses happened to the people that it was written to. It happened to them. They knew when these things was going on that it was about them. Y'all finding out in 2026 and 2020 and 1969 and 1970 and 1980 about y'all being them. These people knew that these curses was about them. So y'all late to the party.
Hey, Marcel, you just said Jacob's trouble will take place in the land of Israel. That's a lie.
What do the Bible say?
Chapter 30. Hold on. When we go to Jeremiah chapter 30, it tells us that Jacob is going to be in the land of their captivity, and once the Lord deliver him, they're going to return back to the land at the end of Jacob's trouble. That's why he said, I will make a...
Read that verse. Make him read that verse. He got to read that verse.
I beg you to read it. I beg you to read the whole chapter of Jeremiah. I beg you to read it. No. Let's read. Let's go to the...
Hold on, y'all. Relax. So hold on, Soup. So what he is saying, he's saying the people in America, the descendants in America, are going to go back to Israel and go through Jacob's trouble, because that's what Jeremiah 30 is saying. It says that he's going to bring them back from captivity, and they're what?
No, it says they're going to be in the land of their captivity during the time of Jacob's trouble, and once he delivered them, they're going to return back to the land that he promised to their forefathers. Read the whole chapter of Jeremiah chapter 30.
And he said he's going to bring the captivity again and cause them to return to the land.
Right. Keep reading. What's wrong with you, bro?
Chris, it's sad that you was a nice guy and you went to the other side and got converted.
What other side?
Diabolical.
What other side, bro?
1 second. Diabolical.
What other side? Say you man for women, bro.
You know, you used to be mild manner and we could have dialogue with you, and now you've gone.
Right. I came in here trying to be nice. Y'all didn't want that.
No, you weren't, bro. You were talking to Wayne the whole time, bro.
No.
You're lying. You're breaking your law.
No, you became a snake.
How's I'm a snake? Explain that. They don't say to prove I'm a snake.
Yeah.
Let's chill. Hey, this is what I want to say though. Marcel brought out some great things as far as showing those plagues and all those things being chasing Israel, after Israel. And you don't even want to address any of those things. You want to go now to Revelations and future prophecy.
You want to go to eschatology.
At least I want you before you say you lied. Before you say Revelation one time. Listen. I need you to admit that what was brought out by Dwayne and Marcel is actually showing you how those things were fulfilled from Deuteronomy 28 already, and we ain't got to worry about it no more. Can you admit that? It didn't stop.
That's why we don't. That's why we can't.
It says the curses is going to be upon thy seed.
Do you want to have a formula on this? Yes or no, bro?
Yes. But let's stick with Jeremiah. Don't run from Jeremiah 30.
I'm telling you, bro. Listen. The only way I'm going to agree to this formula with you, right, on eschatology, is if you concede to the point that you said, number one, they never ate babies nowhere in the Babylonian exile. I can show you before the Babylonian exile and during the Babylonian exile that they actually ate babies. If you concede to that, I'll give you the formula on eschatology.
And if you concede on
eschatology,
bro, you're not going to work.
You don't understand the Bible. So Jeremiah, shut up talking while I'm talking, bro. Stop doing that, bro. Stop doing that, bro. Stop doing that, little bro. You talk too much. You're doing too much, bro. You in your feelings like an effeminate female. Stop being effeminate. You're going against the law, Chris.
Bro, shut up, bro.
We just escalate. We escalate.
Right.
Let's get to the point. How we gonna have this debate? That's what we're trying to figure out.
On eschatology, bro. You say things you don't even know the Bible, bro. You don't read the Bible. You regurgitate information.
So
this is why you ran. This is why you have fallen to that deep.
So you think so-called black Americans was put in this to be called a color? Go through what we went through just for Jesus to come back? No, he's made us a promise to show the world who we are. No, that ain't in the Bible. He didn't tell you to do that. Ain't no Bible verse that say that.
He didn't can't read.
Jeremiah.
Before we go there, can you just tell me how you know you're not an Elamite?
Well, he's gone now. He left.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Crystal. I didn't mean to, actually.
No, he's still here. He's still here. He's still here. They just don't speak over him, Chris.
Hey, listen, Chris, how do you know you're not an Elamite?
I'm trying to keep it respectful, but don't tell me to shut up.
You're not, bro.
Don't tell me
you
to
keep
shut
running
up.
your mouth.
I did not tell nobody to shut up.
Let's be the peacemakers.
I didn't call nobody.
Bro, it's disrespectful to constantly interrupt somebody in the midst of their speech, bro. That's disrespectful.
We brought you up. Dave asked you a
bro,
question.
that's been happening to me the whole lot. And I ain't telling nobody.
I was sitting here watching the whole time.
I didn't tell nobody to shut up one time.
I've been sitting here watching, but you still interrupting Dwayne.
Like, bro, come on. Don't run from Marcel, bro. Y'all know what he's doing. Y'all know what Marcel doing is not a friend. I did not tell.
Okay, guys.
Hey, just relax, man.
I did not tell Dwayne to shut up one time. I kept it.
Chris, stop.
I can't
let it go.
Okay, can we move on? Can we just move on? Can we just move on?
The only one that's being respectful is Dave. That's the only one. I didn't tell nobody to shut up.
All right, so if I'm being respectful, can you answer my question?
Yes, but I want him to answer my question as well, because he didn't want the children of Israel is not in the land of their captivity during the time of Jacob's trouble. He said it didn't say that, and he said they're not going to return afterwards. I
never said that. Stop lying.
He didn't say that. That's not what he said exactly. You ain't saying exactly what he said.
That's the problem. And I told you I can go to Jeremiah 30. It really what you're talking about of Jacob's trouble, starting verse 7, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about. But the problem is with your ideology and with your doctrine, bro. You don't believe that everybody that's Israel is not just the bloodline of Israel. You believe that everybody that's called Israel in any type of latter day time is only bloodline of Israel when we are spiritual Israel, not all of Israel.
I never said that.
Okay, then. So you can't associate everybody of the Jacob passage, what you're talking about returning. You can't say that that's people that's not there, because then they wouldn't be in every nation. So it is people that are still there that are being affected, bro. Like I said, you don't know the Bible, bro. So talking.
Hold on, just hold on. Look, hey Chris. Is Jacob's trouble? Is Israel when after Jacob's trouble, Israel goes back to the land? Are they gonna have any trouble there when they get there?
No.
Okay, yeah. So when they go back to the land, they don't experience no trouble.
No.
All right, can somebody read? Can somebody?
The ones that's gonna get saved, those the ones that's gonna repent and come back.
No.
Because hold on. So is Jacob's trouble during the time of the tribulation period?
No, this is Zechariah chapter 14. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. So you see that? You see that?
Yeah.
This is after he gathers them back to the land.
Right.
You said they don't have any further problems when they return back to the land, though, bro.
No, because the Lord is going to fight for them. You read that in Joel chapter 3. When God delivers them, he's going to raise them out of the places where he sold them. Then he's going to gather all the nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to plead with them for his people Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations. So they're not going to have to fight themselves. Israel don't have.
Hold on.
And Jerusalem going to be unalive, though.
Yeah, it says that there's going to be great distress. They're going to get fought against.
Right.
A lot of them are going to be ravished. A lot of them are just Zechariah 14. A lot of them are going to be ravished. Right, the women going to be ravished, and then put into captivity again.
Right, and then on top of that, not just the people that attack them, but God is also judging them. Because we see in Revelation chapter 11, verse 13 and on, that once darkness hits the land, there will be a great earthquake that unalives 7,000 of the people that are there. And the rest of them fall on their face and give glory and honor to God. What are you talking about, bro? That's why, like, I'll have the debate with you, but it's not going to go how you think it's going to go, bro. You're saying a lot of things that's not in the Bible. Okay, and the original premise... No. Hold on, I'm not done, bro. Let me land my plane. The original premise, though, is talking about something that is supposed to be continuously happening to someone who's in captivity, as y'all believe that y'all are. Well, excluding you, because you're a different type of Israelite, right? You're no longer in captivity, but all your other brothers are. Well, it happened to every single one of the Israelites, bro. It's something that's not continuously happening anymore, and we see it specifically happening in the Bible. That's the first problem that you haven't addressed yet. You said that this wasn't in the Bible. When Brother Dwayne asked you specifically, are they still eating babies? When did they ever do that in America? No, they've never done that. But you're associating the curses of Deuteronomy 28 with the Atlantic slave trade. So all of those curses would have had to happen in America. The only ones that it actually happened to is the ones who actually enslaved the black people. So that actually backfires against you. Second problem is we do see in the Bible, you said it's not in the Bible, that these people were eating their children in and out of captivity. It's true. It's there. Again, 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 28 and 29. This woman is eating her son and giving her other son to other people the next day. This is during when Samaria was under siege by Aram, bro. Well, by Syria, because that's who Aram is. So then we see in the Babylonian captivity, Lamentations chapter 4, verse 10, this woman done cooked one of her children, put them in a pot, cooked them up and ate them. So you saying this stuff's not in the Bible, bro? Stop listening to what other people are telling you, Chris. They're lying to you.
Chris, do you still stand by that statement you made that eventually in America the descendants of the slave trade are going to eat their children? Do you still stand by that?
Well, I said it could happen because we know that.
No, it shouldn't. But listen, we're going based off of we're going based off of the Bible, though, right?
Right.
We're going based off the Bible, according to the curses that's going to pursue you. It said, all these curses shall pursue you. I even grant you that it's not happening all at the same time. But we're 400 and some odd years in America. When are these things, when is it going to start? Like, it's waiting on something else to happen?
Well, we can look at the prison system. We can look at the abortion rate. We can look at cities like Chicago and Detroit where people are unaliving each other.
So is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that all of these descendants of the slave trade that are millionaires, is it safe to say they're not Israelites?
That are millionaires? You talking about like celebrities?
Yeah, millionaires. Like we even have a few billionaires that are African American in America. Is it safe to say that they're not Israelites?
No, I won't say that
because the scriptures, because Deuteronomy. Hold on, because Deuteronomy says that anything their hand find to do is not going. It's going to fail. And they're only going to be oppressed and crushed always.
Right.
So how is it possible that we have millionaire black people that are descendants of slave trade? How is it possible that they're not experiencing any of the curses, even though they don't care about the Lord God?
You talking about celebrities?
I'm talking about anybody in America that don't care nothing about the Most High. Why aren't they experiencing these things since they are the descendants of the slave trade? Why aren't they experiencing?
You know the type of satanic rituals that celebrities do, right?
It doesn't matter. The Bible says that nothing you do. It does not matter. The Bible says, so you mean to tell me you can do a ritual? So you mean to tell me you can do a ritual that oversights what the Most High says? You can go above what he said gonna happen?
What I'm saying is, if you giving up your soul to take that route, that's beyond curse.
Did y'all hear this? Are y'all listening to this?
Because guess what? If you are Israelite,
this man said you could do a curse that's greater than the Most High's words.
No, I did not say that.
You did.
No, I did not. I did not say that. I did not say that. You twisting up what I'm saying.
Okay, so hold on. So you're telling me that because these people are millionaires, they did some kind of voodoo or something, right? Sold their soul. And now they can supersede what the Most High said gonna happen to them.
No, because if you had to take that route, that's not a blessing. If you had to take
Who
that
was the
route,
lady who was the first black millionaire? You said she sold her soul.
It said you're gonna be crushed always and oppressed only.
As America do got the world biggest prison system. Over 20 million black babies have been unalived in the abortion clinics in America. We lead the abortion rate. We lead the. You call that prosperous? You call that prosperous?
Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with no curses, man.
Chris, are they forcing them to go and do that, or are they going on their own and doing it?
That ain't.
Well,
are they being forced to do it, or are they going on their own?
Well, you talking about the prison system or the abortion rate?
The prison system and the abortion. Are they being forced to unalive their children? Are they forced to do crimes and get incarcerated?
No, but it's a system set in place.
And then what it is, then it's a people's problem, not in bondage or in captivity.
Yeah, that's why the children of Israel is going through what they going through because they disobeying God. You're right. It is a people's problem. You're right about that.
I just want to say
this don't make no sense.
For my people, my black people, my people of all skin shades, my people who are hustlers, my people who have vision, my people who God has given the ability to get wealth, my people who know that in the Proverbs that God is the giver of all wisdom, knowledge, and he is the person that gives people ideas to get wealth. Don't ever let somebody tell you that if you touch a milli, okay, that it came from Satan, because there are many people who are prosperous, okay? Everybody won't have wealth, all right? But the people who do touch a milli and God sends them forth to fund the kingdom, all right? Don't ever say that. There are many people who look like me and you and a lot of us in here who are not celebrities, who have millions, all right? Just because you haven't met anybody who comes from a black elite family, I know people, all right? And they didn't sell their soul to get it neither. Majority of the people who are millionaires, everyday millionaires, they come from poverty and they work very, very hard to get to where they at. They were first generation college students. They were first generation law students, first generation doctors, first generation everything. And they were able to pass down their wealth to their children. Please don't. And don't talk about Divine Nine, because I call that out too. I talk about Freemasonry, but I talk about that on my live. There's not the space for that. But don't do that.
Yeah, buddy.
So, Marcel, if you want to set up a debate, Marcel, we going live tomorrow.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't even really think you're qualified enough to debate me. To be honest,
it's all talk.
It's
Well, Jeremiah, he been calling y'all out for the longest on his chapter. Y'all know who, brother. I know y'all familiar.
Who's Jeremiah?
The angel guy, angel masculinity guy.
Talking about that dude that be yelling.
He dropped. They dropped me when I was in there. They dropped me.
You left.
No, they dropped me.
They dropped.
You left that day.
No, I did not just leave. Hold on. They told you. Hold on. They told you I just left.
Yeah.
Hold on, Chris. You know Dave. You know Dwayne. You know me. Do you ever see us run from anybody?
Can we go back to my question earlier that never got addressed? Chris, how do you know you're not an Elamite?
People just be lying for no reason, man.
We have no blood ties to Elon from the research I've done.
How do you determine that
we
you
can go back to Noah 3? Go ahead.
Go back to what?
No, what you say?
Well, I'm just trying. How do you know you have blood ties back to Israel?
Well, we can start with Ham, Shem, and Japheth. We can break down their bloodlines. We know after the flood, when the flood ended, we know only 8 people survived. And we know Noah 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth populated all the nations on earth today. And we know that according to historical evidence, I'm pretty sure y'all will agree with this as well. We know many of the European nations come through the bloodline of Japheth. Yep. We know many of the African nations come through the bloodline of Ham. And we know many of the
and all of them come from Noah.
I would say Arabian.
I would say from Noah, but they was all the same family, bro. What are you talking? Wait, what?
They all came from one person, two people.
Okay, so I just hold on. When did I say they didn't all come from Noah? When did I say that?
No. I mean, I don't think he said anything unreasonable. So okay. So how? But I'm talking about you, like you personally.
Right. Well, I'm telling you, I'm trying to break down the lineage. We know Ham is the progenitor of the African nation.
Man,
when we go to the Zondervan Kalbeck Bible Dictionary, it tells you that Ham is a progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negro.
That's because Zondervan was a racist.
Yeah, that's from a racist ideology.
That's because Zondervan was a racist.
Let me tell you why that logic don't work. You say he's saying that from a racist ideology, right? Now, if you know anything about white supremacist groups in the history of slave masters, they always told black people they was from the seed of Ham, and they always told black people you cursed because you come from the seed of Ham. So if it's from a racist ideology, he would be telling them that the Negroes are from the seed of Ham. He wouldn't be saying that you're not Ham.
So
right?
Do you know what
racist? You
don't know the racist ideology we're talking about. So I was trying to explain.
You be just answering before you even hear stuff.
The racist ideology is based upon the notion that African Americans are subhuman. They come from a mixture of human and animal, or demon and human, something like that, where they're not true human beings. They're less than.
And you know for 100% fact that's the reason why he's saying they're not from the seed of Ham.
Look it up.
Does it anywhere else make a positive identification of African Americans? In other words, does it anywhere affirm? Because it says the term Negro. So when it says that, does it ever use that term and say this is who they are?
Did Zondervan say they came from Shem? He told you about Japhet. He told you about Ham. Did he say that the Negro came from Shem?
Right, that's the point I'm
Did he?
coming from.
Did he?
If we don't come from Ham or Japheth, that will only leave us with Shem.
That ain't what he was saying, though. He wasn't saying that.
But he said they're not from Ham. He said Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negro. So if Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negro, and we know the Europeans come through the bloodline of Japheth, that's only going to leave us with Shem. That could only leave us with Shem.
No, their thinking is that you're not human. You're not actually a full human being.
How do you know that that's the reason why he's saying that? And let me be honest, the way I believe you got that from Vocab Malone.
Man, how do you figure I got that from Vocab Malone? How do you figure that? I don't care. You believe the descendants of the slave trade are Israelites too. So what you believe don't mean nothing to nobody.
Right, because I heard Vocab Malone say that. I spoke to Vocab Malone.
Where do you think you thought he came up with that on his own?
Yeah.
Why don't you go look into it?
He just made it up. Listen.
If white supremacist groups have always said that black people are from the seed of Ham, you're cursed, because if you know anything about
we didn't say it came from white supremacists.
You said
we didn't say it came from white supremacists.
You say it's based off a racist ideology.
It is. So years ago,
that means the white supremacist group should be saying the same exact thing you saying.
So
no, they shouldn't. Zondervan should.
Well, actually, there are ones that do though, because a number of years ago, before I think it was on Facebook, if I remember right, there was a Facebook group, and I stumbled across it, and that's the type of stuff they were advocating for, and so I was getting into it with them on that. Because they were like the Christian identity movement, and they were trying to say that all of the, Adam and Noah and Abraham were all Caucasian.
Right.
Chris, you need to come back and just study with us, bro. Seriously. And I'm saying it.
Nah, he wrapped up, tied up, tangled up.
I'm not listening. Hold on.
He wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in that angel masculinity, dude.
Listen. I'm not saying that only Israel can be saved. I'm not saying this.
Chris, I'm trying to just say something to you in a positive manner, brother. We really like you, brother. We really want you to come to truth. We really want you to see the clarity, bro. And that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. You got to get out of that doctrine, man. It's got you blinded a lot.
So what's the doctrine I'm under? What's the doctrine I'm under?
Deception. Deception.
And what is
I
that?
think Danny P says you've been sherified.
Yes.
And what deception is I'm under? And I'm asking it like I'm not being sarcastic.
The Cherry Five. What's his name? Cherry from who started all this?
Yeah, that's why he says cherified. So I just threw into Chat GPT real quick. What is the name of the racist ideology that says African Americans are subhumans and not descended from Ham? And it says the Christian Identity Movement, a fringe extremist ideology that claims white Europeans are the true descendants of Israel and often teaches that black people are inferior or even non-human.
Okay, let me ask y'all this. This is a serious question too, because y'all say I'm under deception. So let's just say if I was wrong about Deuteronomy 28 and I was wrong about me being an Israelite, do that mean I'm going to lose my soul according to what the scriptures say? Because Christ said you have to be born again. So
why you fighting so hard for it then? Why you fighting so hard for it then?
If this worth losing my soul, the Bible doesn't say you have to know you Israel or not in order to say. He said you have to.
I was about to ask.
That's crazy. Why are you fighting so hard for it then?
You gotta know what it means to be born again, a new creation. If you're a new creation, it's being an Israelite ain't being a new creation. That means you're going back to being something old. If you're gonna put that above Jesus, then that's where you messed up. We don't care if you think you're an Israelite, but we want you to be an Israelite who put Christ as preeminent over everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to come to us and be like, yo, I'm an Israelite, because we're going to be like, okay, but do you believe in Christ? Do you believe in the death, burial, resurrection? You know what I'm saying? After that, there ain't many other questions I'm going to ask you. If you truly believe in that, because Paul definitely says, unless you believe in vain. He even talks about grace the same way, that you don't take the grace of God in vain. Because a lot of people be around here talking about they believe, but they don't really believe. So, that's where we got to go. And and part of that, we're going to examine your fruit. And if you keep going back, trying to put that new wine in old wineskin, then we're gonna check you on it.
Hey, Dwayne, you got that guy. Oh, sorry. Go. I thought you were done.
I'm done.
All right. So you got that guy that goofy guy in the queue who actually posted that video of his buddy getting cooked yesterday.
Hey, you can bring him up because I got to do this. I told you I was supposed to be gone at 6:50, but I'll leave it alive up for you if you want to take over right quick.
I got maybe
Marcel,
20 minutes or so.
Y'all can deal with him right quick. I gotta get.
You got Judah Lux.
Yeah, that's the guy who posted that video. That's hilarious. I can't believe you posted that, dude.
All right, YouTube. I gotta end it. Y'all can finish it up on TikTok. Let them run.